Hello Temple, I'm talking to you from the terrace of my senora or host mom's terrace. It's beautiful. But this video vlog, I wanted to talk about the different day trips that San Luis University offers to all of the students that are coming to visit from, well, anywhere in the world. The three that I went on, I believe they have 6 day trips, and then they also have trips throughout the semester for weekends that are set up for you to go on. Some of them are like for classes to become more in depth and to fully understand it. They'll have weekend trips to places around here because everything is just so accessible. But the 3 I went on were Salamanca, Segovia, and Toledo, and I have to admit that Segovia was my favorite. But it's awesome because they give you, you get a coach bus ride there, so it's like really comfortable. Everyone would like sleep on the way and rest and relax. And then you have, once you get there, they have an English-speaking tour guide, so that, of course, I mean, I know me, I want to come here and practice my Spanish and learn my Spanish, but also when I want to be able to enjoy things and understand what's going on when I go on a tour. And so they had English-speaking tour guides that were really interesting and really know the information and the history. And then after the tour of the towns, we got like 2 or 3 hours of free time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was just enough. We could go get lunch, we could walk around and go in some of the other buildings that we didn't go into, we can souvenir shop, we can just go regular shopping, and we can just like hang out in the plazas and stuff like that. What was really awesome is that all of the towns have these awesome little restaurants, and they look so nice, and like they'd be so expensive. Like they're sit down, they're outside in the plaza, like under like on sidewalk cafes and stuff like that. And they have this what is called a menu al dia, which is menu of the day, and for maybe 8 or 9 euros, sometimes the most will be 12 euros, you will get a first course meal, a second course meal, dessert, bread, and a drink of wine, soda, water, or whatever you want. So it's a really good deal because I would sit down for lunch and I'd be so full and content by the end of it, and it wasn't like completely ruining my budget of not trying to spend all of my money in one weekend while I'm here. But I'm going to tell you a little about Segovia, because it was definitely my favorite. I think the thing I was most impressed about was the Roman aqueducts, because if you know anything about history, you know that the Romans came to and conquered Spain for a few hundred years, and in that time obviously they built plenty of things. But in Segovia, they have the only still completely intact Roman aqueduct. It's so impressive. You see it in the textbooks and you have no idea of like just the enormity of it, and just like how in like the 2nd century they were able to build these massive things without cement or anything, or any of the machines that we have, just out of like pure labor, and in a really short amount of time. I think they built it in under a year. But then there's also the Alcazar, which means fortress, but basically it's a castle, but it's like their guarded castle. And so I saw a real moat with a real drawbridge, and then you go inside and you can go see the castle as it was when kings and queens lived there. What was really cool is that we saw the meeting room where people would go to talk to the king and queen, and in the specific castle in Segovia, that is one of the places where Christopher Columbus went to talk to the king and queen of Spain. So I thought that was really cool because that definitely related back to America. But then also what was cool about Segovia is because at one time the French also had control, because it's a little bit northern of Madrid, so it's the northern part of Spain, and so at one point in time the French had control of it. And so you can see like French seals, like the seal of honor, they give the coat of arms, I believe it's called, on some of the buildings. And the tour guide explained that was basically saying like, I'm French and I don't have to work, and that's the difference between you being Spanish and me French. So it had so much history, and like the plazas and the buildings and the churches, it was just magnificent. Like it was just a quaint, like it just felt like you were back in the time because of everything that you were seeing. And we even saw Actually, when I went to Segovia and to Salamanca, we saw weddings, and they still have a lot of old tradition here. And so we saw before the wedding in Segovia, they dress up and they walk around in crazy outfits and just mess around to try and ward off evil spirits to the bride. And I thought that was really cool that they still did it, and it's just a fun thing to do before the bride gets married later that day. So I just wanted to talk to you about all the great trips that they can offer and everything that they have. Everything's in such close proximity. You can literally see everything in Spain and even Europe when you're here for just a semester. I believe some of the weekend trips that they have one going to Morocco that I actually was too late to sign up for. So if you come, make sure that you sign up on time, and the ones that you want to go to, you go do it right away. But because there's such an interest in the trip to Morocco, because it's a cultural immersion where you don't just go and tour, you actually stay with a host family that speaks English in Morocco to learn what that life is like. They might be setting up a second one in December, so if I keep my fingers crossed, hopefully I'll get on that one. But yeah, it's just, there's one to Morocco, there's one to Brussels. They have a trip to the coast for the oceanography class. They just have trips all over Europe for classes and for general interest. So it's definitely a really interesting place to be, and there's always something to do and always something to see. And the school has it set up so that you can definitely go on the trips, and it's not a ridiculous amount because they're getting a group of people to go together. So, and sometimes it'd just be cheaper than going by yourself or just with one or two other friends, because you can go as a group. So it's definitely an awesome experience. So I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, and now I'm gonna let you guys see some photos from my trip to Segovia because I loved it so much.